first thing he noticed about her wasn't her face. It was what she didn't ask. She didn't ask about the land, didn't ask about the house, didn't even ask if the arrangement would work. She asked one question. How far is the nearest town? In the opposite direction. That should have been enough. Enough for him to end it right there, before it started. But Elias Boone wasn't a man who acted quickly. Not anymore. Not since the last time it had cost him something he couldn't get back. Dakota Territory, late autumn 1891. The kind of season where the land didn't look dead yet, but you could feel it closing in. Elias had been at the station 15 minutes early, which wasn't like him. He stood at the far end of the platform, hat in his hands, turning it slowly by the brim. Not nervous, just aware. The train came in slow, iron grinding against track, steam rolling out into the cold air. Passengers stepped down one by one. Travelers, laborers, a family with too many bags and not enough patience. Then her. She didn't hesitate at the step. Didn't rush either. Asian, late 20s maybe. Dark coat, worn but clean. One bag in her hand. Nothing about her asked for attention, but everything about her held it. She saw him almost immediately, not because he signaled, not because he moved, because she was looking for him. They closed the distance without hurry, step for step, until they stopped in front of each other. "Mr. Boone," she said. Her voice was steady, not soft, not hard, measured. "Miss Carter." They shook hands. Brief, firm, no extra words. Elias reached for her bag. She let him take it. After a moment. Small, but there. Hesitation. "The wagon's this way," he said. She nodded. No questions, no small talk. They walked side by side out of town. Boots on packed dirt. Wind cutting low across the open land. The silence between them wasn't awkward. It was deliberate. Elias had expected questions. Most people asked them. About the land, the house, what kind of man he was. She didn't. "You read the letter," he said finally. "Yes." "That's all you need to know?" She looked ahead. Not at him. "It's enough to decide if I come," she said. "Not enough to decide if I stay." That answer settled differently. Honest, but not open. The ranch came into view as the light began to drop. Low house, weathered wood, land stretching farther than it looked from a distance. Not impressive, not failing either. Holding gate. Looked at the house, the fence line, the open field beyond. Not judging, assessing. "It has good ground," she said. Not nice, not beautiful, useful. Elias nodded once. "That's what matters." He showed her the house without ceremony. Kitchen, main room, the small bedroom at the end of the hall. Clean, simple, nothing hidden. Nothing offered either. She stepped inside the room, set her bag down, ran her fingers once across the edge of the table. Dust-free, prepared. "You expected me," she said. "Yes." "You didn't expect me to stay." Elias didn't answer, because that was true. They ate supper at the same table that night, across from each other. Plates simple, conversation simpler. They spoke about the arrangement, timeline, expectations, What would happen if either of them chose to end it? Practical, clean, safe. Right up until she asked something that wasn't part of it. How far is the nearest town going the other way? Not the town they came from, not the one written in the letter, the other direction. Elias looked at her, properly this time. Why? He asked. She held his gaze, didn't look away, didn't soften it. In case I need to leave, she said. Quickly. That was the moment, the one that mattered, the one where a smarter man would have ended it. Because people who planned their exit before they stayed were already carrying something with them, something that didn't belong there. Elias leaned back slightly, studied her. 20 miles, he said finally, northwest. Why that way? She didn't answer, not directly. Because it's not the way I came, she said. Silence followed, different now, no longer neutral. Elias nodded once, not agreement, acceptance. Fair enough, he said. They finished supper without saying much else. Plates cleared, water poured, routine settling in where conversations stopped. Later, he stood on the porch alone, night coming in slow over the land, wind low across the field. Behind him, a quiet movement inside the house, not loud, but present. Elias looked out toward the dark horizon, toward the direction she hadn't come from. And for the first time, since he placed that advertisement, he understood something. He hadn't just brought someone into his life. He had brought something else with her. And whatever it was, it hadn't finished catching up yet. The second day didn't start with conversation. It started with routine. That was how Elias measured people. He was up before sunrise, as he always was, boots on, coat pulled tight, stepping out into the cold air before the light had fully settled. The land held a thin layer of frost, grass stiff, ground quiet. He didn't expect her to be awake. Most weren't. Most stayed in bed the first few days, uncertain, out of place. She wasn't. The kitchen lamp was already lit, low, steady. He stepped inside, closed the door behind him. She was at the table, not cooking, not waiting, working. The ledger sat open in front of her, his ledger. She didn't look up immediately, finished the line she was reading, then lifted her gaze to him. Good morning, she said, same tone as the day before, measured. Elias set his gloves down, didn't comment on the ledger, not yet. Morning. Silence stretched, but not uncomfortably, just observed. You don't waste time, he said finally. She glanced down at the page again. No. Then, you're overpaying for feed. Direct, no hesitation. Elias stepped closer, looked down at the column she was tapping. He already knew the number, had known it for months, hadn't changed it. The supplier's closer, he said, not close enough to justify that difference. She slid her finger down the page. There's another one, Harlow side. Elias didn't answer right away, because she was right. He nodded once. I'll look into it. She closed the ledger, didn't push further, didn't press the point, said what mattered, then stopped. That told him something, more than the numbers had. Coffee's there, she said, not offering, informing. He poured himself a cup, sat across from her, not quite close, not distant either. They didn't speak for a while, just the quiet sound of the house waking up around them. Two people, sharing space, without needing to fill it. Why here? He asked eventually. The question came without warning. She didn't react immediately, didn't deflect. You mean wire advertisement? Yes. She considered it, carefully. Because it was honest, she said. Most aren't. Elias watched her. That answer wasn't the whole truth. And the part you didn't write, she added. That caught him, slightly. What part? The part about why you really need this. Silence settled. He could lie, could give her something clean, acceptable. He didn't. Not with her. The land doesn't stay mine if I don't marry before winter, he said. Simple, direct. Her expression didn't change, didn't soften. How long? She asked. 3 months. She nodded once, not surprised, just confirming. And if you fail? She asked. Elias looked at the table, then back at her. I lose it. To who? My uncle. That told her enough. She leaned back slightly in her chair, thinking, not reacting. That's why you wrote it the way you did, she said. Yes. No promises. No. Another silence. Different now. More understood. And you? He asked. Why you? Her gaze shifted, not away, inward. My situation wasn't urgent, she said. I had work, a place to stay. Then why leave? She held his gaze again, longer this time, because staying would have been the same thing every year after that, and that felt worse. That answer landed clean. No drama, no explanation, just truth. Elias nodded once, didn't push further. They moved through the day together after that, checking fence lines, walking the edge of the north field, talking when necessary, quiet when not. She kept pace, even when the ground turned uneven, even when the wind picked up. Didn't complain. By late afternoon, something had shifted. Not dramatically, just enough. The distance between them was no longer intentional. It was fading. That evening, they sat on the porch, separate chairs, same direction, light fading slow across the field. You haven't asked me anything, he said. She glanced at him. I have? Not about me. A small pause, then, all right, she said. Why hasn't anyone already married you? That question cut cleaner than the others. Elias didn't answer immediately, didn't look at her, horizon instead. Because I didn't ask, he said finally. That's not the whole answer. No, it wasn't. But it was the part he was willing to give. She didn't press, didn't challenge it, just noted it. Night settled in, cold, quiet, steady. They stood at the same time, moved back inside, and for the first time, it didn't feel like two strangers sharing a space. It felt like something else, something not yet named. And just as Elias reached for the door, something caught his attention. Tracks. Not his. Not from that morning. Fresh. At the edge of the yard. He didn't say anything, didn't call it out, but he knew. Whatever she had been running from was no longer far behind. Elias didn't mention the tracks. Not that night. Not yet. Some things you watched first, spoke about later. He closed the door behind them, latched it the way he always did, then paused for half a second longer than usual, listening. Nothing. No movement. No sound beyond the wind slipping across the open field. That didn't mean anything. Inside, Mai was already moving through the kitchen, not hurried, but not unaware either. She felt it. The shift. "You saw something," she said, not a question. Elias didn't answer immediately. He set his coat down, moved to the table, poured water into a cup. Then, "Tracks," he said. Silence. Heavy. Expected. "How many?" she asked. "2. Maybe 3. She nodded once. No surprise. "Close?" "Close enough." That settled it. Whatever she had been carrying was no longer just hers. Elias watched her carefully, waiting, not for fear, for truth. "They won't come to the door," she said, quiet, measured. "They'll watch first." "You know that from experience," he said. "Yes." Another silence, this one different. Closer. Elias pulled a chair back, sat down slowly. "All right," he said. "Start at the part you skipped." Mai didn't move right away, didn't sit. She stood by the table, hands resting lightly against the wood, like she needed something steady beneath them. "I wasn't supposed to leave," she said. "That's usually how it starts," Elias replied. Her eyes flicked to his, quick, then back down. "The town I came from," she began, then stopped, adjusted, reframed. "The place I worked wasn't what it claimed to be." "What was it?" "A way to move things. Goods, money, records that didn't match what was written down." Elias leaned back slightly, not surprised, just confirming. "And you knew," he said. "Yes." "For how long?" "Long enough." That answer carried weight. "What changed?" he asked. Mai exhaled slowly. Then, "They started asking me to sign things, documents I hadn't written." "And you didn't?" "No." "That's when you left." She nodded. "And the people outside?" Elias asked. "They work for the same men." Silence again. Clear now. "They want you back," he said. "No. They want what I took." That shifted something. Elias straightened slightly. "What did you take?" She didn't answer immediately, measured the cost of saying it. "Proof," she said. "Enough to hurt them." "And where is it?" he asked. Her eyes met his again, steady. "Not here," she said. That was the truth, but not all of it. Elias didn't push, didn't need to. "Then they're not here for the land," he said. "No. They're here for you." "Yes." That was the moment, the one that mattered, because now it wasn't just an arrangement anymore. It was a decision. Stay out of it, or step into something that wouldn't end clean. Elias stood, moved to the door again, opened it just enough to look out. Dark now, fields stretched quiet. But he knew they were still there, watching, waiting. He closed the door, turned back. "You can leave," he said. "Simple. Take the wagon, head north." Mai didn't move, didn't even consider it. "They'll follow," she said. "Yes." "And if I stay?" Elias looked at her, not carefully this time, direct. "Then they stop watching," he said. "They come closer." Silence, heavy. "All right," she said. "I stay." That answer settled everything. No negotiation, no hesitation, just choice. Elias nodded once. Decision made. Then we don't wait for them, he said. Her eyes sharpened slightly. How? Elias reached for his rifle, checked it. Routine. We make them move first. Outside, the wind shifted, just slightly, and somewhere beyond the edge of the field, a shadow moved, closer than before. This time, they weren't just watching anymore. They didn't wait for morning. Neither side did. The first sound came just after midnight. Not loud, deliberate. A shift of weight near the fence line. Wood creaking under pressure that wasn't wind. Elias was already awake, sitting in the dark, rifle across his knees, listening, counting. One step, pause, another. 2 men, maybe 3. They weren't rushing, they were testing. Inside, Mai hadn't moved from the chair near the table, not sleeping, waiting. You hear it? She whispered. Yes. How many? Enough. That answer stayed in the air, heavy, final. Another sound, closer now, a boot against the porch step, then knuckles against the door. 3 taps, even, controlled. Elias didn't move, didn't answer. Let them speak first. A voice came through the wood, calm, almost polite. We're not here for trouble. Silence. Just the woman, the voice continued. Send her out, and we leave the rest of this alone. Mai didn't look at Elias, didn't ask. She already knew the answer. Elias stood slowly, rifle in hand, not raised, ready. No, he said, clear, flat. Silence on the other side, short. Then a quiet exhale, like the man had expected that. That's unfortunate, the voice said, because we were hoping to keep this simple. Elias stepped closer to the door, not opening it. Nothing about this is simple, he said. Another pause, longer this time. Decision shifting. Then footsteps retreating, slow, measured. Not leaving, repositioning. They'll come through the side, Elias said quietly. Mai was already moving, lantern out, light gone, room dropping into darkness. She stepped back from the table, keeping to the wall, out of direct line from the windows. Elias moved to the far side of the room, angled toward where the wall met the door. Best line. The first impact came at the window. Glass didn't shatter. It cracked. Pressure. Testing. Second hit. Harder. Wood splintering near the frame. Elias didn't fire. Didn't move. Waited. Because the first man through was always the one who made the mistake. The window gave. Not fully. Just enough. A hand came through. Then an arm. Elias stepped in. Fast. One motion. Decisive. The figure pulled back immediately, not committed enough. Smart. Smarter than most. Careful, the voice outside said. They're ready. Elias shifted again, recalculated. They weren't rushing anymore. They had time. So did he. Back door? Mai whispered. No, they'll have it covered. Another impact, this time at the side wall, not breaking, marking. They're mapping the house, she said. Yes. Silence again. Longer. Too long. Elias felt it first. Not sound. Shift. They're not coming in, he said. Mai frowned slightly. Then what? The smell hit next. Faint, then sharper. Smoke. Elias moved instantly. Door, latch, open. Flames already climbing the far side of the porch. Slow, controlled. They're burning it, Mai said. Yes. Not panic, not rage. Strategy. Force them out, take them in the open. Elias stepped back inside, looked at her. 1 second. Front, he said. No hesitation. She nodded, didn't argue, didn't ask anything else. The fire spread fast. Dry wood, old structure. It wouldn't hold long. Elias took position at the door, hand on the latch. Stay on my right, he said. Don't stop moving. Mai moved beside him, close, not behind, ready. Elias opened the door and stepped straight into the firelight. Figures moved in the dark beyond, waiting, exactly where they wanted them. But this time, Elias wasn't staying inside. He moved first. And that changed everything. Firelight turned the yard into something unreal. Shadows stretching long across the ground, smoke rising slow into the night air. Exactly the kind of light that hid more than it showed. Elias stepped out first, not fast, not slow, controlled. Mai moved with him, close at his right, keeping the line he had given her. They didn't run. That was the mistake the men outside were waiting for. Panic made people predictable. Elias didn't give them that. He angled left, just slightly, breaking the straight path away from the door. The first man moved too soon, a shape stepping out from behind the fence line, thinking they would bolt forward. He was wrong. Elias shifted, one clean motion, forcing the distance to collapse faster than expected. The man stepped back. Too late. Momentum gone. The others adjusted, spreading, trying to close the space again. Mai stayed with him, didn't break formation, didn't hesitate. They crossed the yard, moving toward the darker edge beyond the fence, out of the firelight. That was the goal, not to win the ground, to leave it. A voice cut through the smoke, sharper now. Stop them! Footsteps behind, closer. Elias reached the fence, grabbed the top rail, pulled himself over in one motion, turned, caught Mai's arm, helped her across. They landed on the other side, ground softer, darker, harder to see. Good. Better. They moved again, faster now, not running blind, moving with purpose. The land dipped ahead, a shallow cut in the earth leading toward the dry creek bed. Elias angled toward it without hesitation. Behind them, the men reached the fence, voices louder now, less controlled. They were losing the shape of it. That was enough. They dropped into the creek bed, low ground swallowing the last of the firelight behind them. Dark, quiet, hidden, gone. They didn't stop until the house was no longer visible, not even the glow. Then Elias slowed, turned, listened. Nothing followed. Not yet. But not over. Mai leaned slightly against the canyon wall, breathing controlled, steady despite everything. Her eyes found his. You could have let them take me, she said. You would still have the land. Elias looked at her, not carefully, direct. No, he said, I wouldn't. That answer stayed between them. Simple, final. Behind them, far off, the structure collapsed. Wood giving way, fire finishing what it started. The last piece of his life there, gone. Elias didn't look back, didn't need to, because what mattered now was ahead. Where do we go? Mai asked. Elias looked out across the dark land, toward the line of hills beyond the creek. Northwest, he said. 20 miles. The direction she had asked about. The one she had planned for. She nodded once, not surprised, not afraid. They moved again, side by side. No distance left between them. No arrangement anymore. no conditions, just choice. By sunrise, they reached the ridge above the basin, light breaking slow across the land behind them. From there, you could see everything: the smoke, the tracks, the path they had taken, and the one ahead. Elias stopped, just for a second, not to rest, to understand. He had lost the house, lost the land, everything that had kept him in one place. And yet, he wasn't walking alone. May stepped beside him, close. "You can still turn back," she said quietly. "Find something else. Start over." Elias shook his head, not even considering it. "Not this time." "No," he said. "I'm already where I need to be." She studied him, not questioning, understanding. They stood there a moment longer, watching the light reach across the basin, burn away the last of the night. A clean line. Then they turned and walked toward whatever was waiting next.